And Tommy Tuberville, a great coach.
Donald Trump really thought nobody would notice this.
You know, his quarterback was named Mahomes. He was a great college coach. And I said, how good was he? He said, you don't want to know how good. He made me into a great coach. He's pretty good quarterback, right? Yeah, he was very good. He's a good guy, too.
Where do we even begin? First, let's see how Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville is going to try to spin this obvious lie.
Last question. So does this mean, since you used to coach Patrick Mahomes, that you're rooting for the Chiefs at the big game this Sunday?
Well, I never even coached him. What happened is I recruited him, and then I left and went to another school. But I've got to be very good friends with him. He's not just a good athlete. He's a very good example for a lot of our young youth across this country. Now, I like both teams. Again, I'm not a big NFL person. I like college football more, but I'll probably be pulling for Patrick this week.
Unsurprisingly, Tuberville refused to admit outright that Trump lied about their conversation and just made up Tuberville saying that Patrick Mahomes, quote, made him into a great coach, close quote, yet he still tried to give himself some credit by claiming he was recruiting Mahomes while head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Tuberville held that role from 2010 to 2012, while Mahomes didn't suit up for the school until the 2014 season, meaning that Mahomes was, at the oldest, a high school junior during Tuberville's final season in Lubbock, Texas. Just to drive that point home further, local Texas news outlet Amarillo.com covered the Texas Tech recruiting class Mahomes was a part of, reporting all the way back in 2014 that then head coach and Washington Commanders OC Kliff Kingsbury and his staff were responsible for ultimately recruiting Patrick Mahomes, as well as the departure of Baker Mayfield to Oklahoma. It's also important to note that the first season Mahomes played quarterback for White House High School was his junior year in the 2012 season, the same season Tuberville departed from Texas Tech. While it's, I guess, possible that Mahomes was immediately put on Tuberville's radar after throwing nearly 4,000 yards, 46 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions, it is laughable for him and Trump to insinuate that Tuberville had any impact on Mahomes' rise to greatness whatsoever. The Cover 3 podcast came to the same conclusion as well. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Tuberville claims that he recruited Mahomes, but that's BS. And here's how we know. Tuberville's last season at Texas Tech was 2012. Mahomes was a high school junior in 2012, and it was his first year playing quarterback. He was more of like a baseball prospect at that time and had been a good safety and hooper. Under Tuberville, Tech was not recruiting Mahomes, but rather DJ Gillens, who committed to the Red Raiders in November. Tuberville would leave Texas Tech just a month later. Mahomes was not even offered by Tech until a month after Tuberville left. New coach Kliff Kingsbury had seen Mahomes while at his former job. And when Gillens decommitted to go to Wisconsin, Kingsbury extended the offer. He committed to the Red Raiders in April, had an insane senior season, and the rest is history unless you are Tommy Tuberville and are trying to rewrite history.
Shout out to Cover 3 for posting this breakdown nearly 2 years ago to the date, while this blatant lie ranks near the bottom of Trump's never-ending list of falsehoods. It perfectly shows the lengths he and the Maga movement are willing to go to project an image of success and power to hide their insecurities. Either Tuberville lied to Trump and pretended about recruiting and coaching Mahomes, or Trump completely fabricated this conversation altogether. Both outcomes are hilariously pathetic and entirely delusional. But when you're that insecure about the image you're projecting out to the world and desperately need to be perceived as an almighty strong man, this is the type of lies you'll hear. Now, recalled this.
Mrs. I actually like Mrs. Mahomes much better, if you want to know the truth. She's a big Trump fan. I was not a Taylor Swift fan. It was just a question of time. She couldn't. You couldn't possibly endorse Biden. You look at Biden, you couldn't possibly endorse him. But she's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it at in the marketplace. But no, I like Brittany. I think Brittany's great. Brittany got a lot of news last week. She's a big MAGA fan. That's the one I like much better than Taylor Swift.
And this.
Make America great again. Let's do it.
While Patrick has been much more guarded and secretive about his politics, his wife and mother haven't had any problems showing their true colors and being showered with praise from the fascist in office, which leads us to this.
I don't know if you saw the clip yesterday, but President Trump described you as a pretty good winner. I just wondered what you thought about that and how it's going to feel to play in front of him on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's always cool to be able to play in front of a sitting president, someone that is at the top position in our country. And so I didn't see that clip, but obviously it's cool to hear that he's seen me play football and respects the game that I play.
Patrick recently gave one of his typical diplomatic answers to a question involving Trump during his Super Bowl media tour. And while you shouldn't expect him to get political, it's disappointing nonetheless to see the face of the entire sport and a global athletic superstar brush off Trump as just another president who doesn't pose an existential threat to hundreds of millions of people both inside and outside of the United States. And as for one of MAGA's many public enemies,
that's awesome. It's a great honor. I think, no matter who the president is, I know I'm excited because it's the biggest game of my life, and having the president there, it's the best country in the world, so it'd be very cool.
Travis Kelce also dismissed Trump's fascism and played off his attendance at the upcoming Super Bowl just like Mahomes. It should never be a, quote, great honor, close quote, in Kelce's words, to entertain someone as deplorable as Donald Trump. But when the threat he poses doesn't affect you, it's much easier to ignore his impact.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.